The screen door slammed behind me like a gunshot in the still evening air, but it was the man's voice that hit me first, deep, gravelly, laced with a warmth that wrapped around my chest and squeezed. "You must be Alex. Jordan's told me all about you." I turned, and there he was, Marcus Hale, all 6 feet of quiet strength, his blue eyes locking onto mine with an intensity that made the world tilt. In that split second, as the Pacific Ocean whispered secrets below the cliffside deck, I knew this summer in Big Sur wasn't about surfing or bonfires with my best friend. It was about the man who shouldn't have mattered, but already did. I wiped my suddenly clammy palms on my jeans, forcing a grin as Jordan bounded down the stairs like a golden retriever on caffeine. "Dude, you made it. Traffic from San Francisco wasn't a nightmare." He clapped me on the back, oblivious to the electric hum buzzing between me and the figure in the doorway. Jordan was my anchor, 19, like me, with that effortless surfer vibe, sun-kissed skin, messy blonde waves, and a laugh that could defuse any bomb. We'd been inseparable since freshman year at UC Santa Cruz, bonding over late-night tacos and dreams of escaping our cookie-cutter suburbs. This trip was supposed to be our reset, 2 weeks of freedom in his family's rented beach house, far from midterms and the gnawing ache of unspoken truths I'd buried deep. Marcus stepped forward, extending a hand that engulfed mine in a grip both firm and lingering. Up close, he smelled like sea salt and sandalwood, his linen shirt unbuttoned just enough to reveal the faint scar tracing his collarbone, a story etched in skin I had no right to wonder about. "Welcome to the Hale Hideaway," he said, his voice dropping an octave on my name, like it was something precious. "Make yourself at home. Jordan, show him around before dinner." His gaze flicked to his son, then back to me, a shadow of something unreadable crossing his face. Regret? Curiosity? I couldn't tell, but it rooted me to the spot long after he'd turned away. Jordan dragged me inside, chattering about the hidden cove for midnight swims and the local dive bar with killer fish tacos. The house was a dream, weathered cedar walls lined with bookshelves groaning under dog-eared paperbacks, wide windows framing the endless blue of the ocean, and a kitchen island scarred from years of family feasts. Upstairs, my room overlooked the deck where Marcus was already firing up the grill, his silhouette sharp against the fading light. I unpacked in a daze, replaying that handshake, the way his thumb had brushed my knuckles. God, Alex, get a grip. He was Jordan's dad, 42, divorced, the kind of guy who fixed boats for a living and probably spent weekends coaching Little League. Off Limits didn't even begin to cover it. Dinner was chaos in the best way. Jordan blasting indie rock from a Bluetooth speaker, plates piled with grilled snapper, and corn on the cob dripping butter. Marcus sat at the head of the table, his laughter rumbling like distant thunder as Jordan recounted our disastrous attempt at a road trip last spring, the flat tire in the Mojave that left us hitchhiking with a conspiracy theorist. "Sounds like you two keep life interesting," Marcus said, his eyes on me again, steady and searching. I nodded, fork midway to my mouth, feeling exposed under that gaze. What was it about him? The lines around his eyes from Too Many Suns, the quiet confidence that spoke of storms weathered alone? My own life felt small in comparison. A kid from Sacramento, scraping by on scholarships, still figuring out how to whisper, "I'm gay," without the world crumbling. As the stars pricked the velvet sky, Jordan suggested a bonfire on the beach. We hauled driftwood down the winding path, the air thick with salt and possibility. Marcus joined us, carrying a cooler of craft beers he'd brewed himself, hops and citrus bursting on my tongue. Around the flames, stories flowed like the tide. Jordan mimicked our professor's nasally drone. I cracked jokes about my failed attempt at veganism. But Marcus, he listened, really listened, his contributions sparse but weighted. "Lost my first love to the sea," he said once, staring into the fire, the orange glow carving shadows on his jaw. "She was a diver, chasing shipwrecks off Monterey. One rogue wave, and..." He trailed off, taking a pull from his bottle. Jordan shifted uncomfortably. Divorce had fractured their family 5 years back, but this was new territory. I wanted to reach across the sand, bridge that gap with words I didn't have. That night, sleep evaded me. The house creaked like it was breathing, waves a relentless lullaby. I slipped downstairs for water, barefoot on the cool tiles, and froze in the kitchen doorway. Marcus was there, silhouetted by the open fridge light, pouring himself a glass of whiskey neat. His back was to me, broad shoulders tense under a faded navy tee, veteran then. The scar on his collarbone suddenly made sense. "Can't sleep?" He murmured without turning, as if he'd sensed my heartbeat from across the room. Just thirsty, I lied, voice barely above a whisper. He handed me a glass of water, our fingers brushing, deliberate this time, a spark that raced up my arm. This place gets under your skin, doesn't it? The quiet amplifies everything. His eyes held mine, blue depths pulling me in like undertow. I nodded, throat dry for reasons beyond hydration. Jordan's lucky to have you. I blurted, desperate for normalcy. A ghost of a smile. He's a good kid. Takes after his mom in the chaos department. Pause. What about you, Alex? What's chasing you this summer? The question hung, heavy as the humid air. I could have deflected, midterms, family drama, but truth clawed its way out. Myself, mostly. Figuring out who I am when no one's watching. His nod was slow, understanding blooming in the dim light. That's the bravest kind of chase. He lingered a beat too long, then stepped back, breaking the spell. Get some rest. Tomorrow's an early tide. I retreated upstairs, pulse thundering, the ghost of his touch lingering like smoke. What the hell was happening? This wasn't some fleeting crush. It was a fault line cracking open, threatening to swallow me whole. Jordan snored softly next door, innocent in his dreams, while I stared at the ceiling, wondering if the ocean knew the shape of forbidden longing. The next morning dawned brutal and beautiful, sunlight slicing through the blinds like accusations. Jordan was up at crack of dawn, shaking me awake with promises of epic swells. Surf's calling, bro. Dad's making breakfast, pancakes with those wild blueberries from the trail. I groaned, rolling out of the tangled sheets, my mind a war zone from the midnight kitchen standoff. Marcus's words echoed, bravest kind of chase. Did he see it in me? The hidden fractures, the boy who'd spent years perfecting a straight facade for his conservative folks back home? Downstairs, the kitchen hummed with domestic magic. Marcus flipped flapjacks with practiced ease, his hair still damp from a shower, wearing board shorts and a tank that hugged his chest in ways that should be illegal. Morning, Alex. Sleep okay? Casual. But his eyes, those damn eyes, held a flicker of last night's intimacy. Like a rock. I mumbled, sliding onto a stool beside Jordan, who was inhaling coffee like it was oxygen. Breakfast blurred into laughter. Jordan's epic wipeout tales, Marcus's dry quips about kids these days and their GoPros. But under the table, my knee brushed Marcus's calf. Accidental? Or was it? And neither of us moved away. Heat bloomed low in my gut, a warning I ignored. We hit the beach by 9, boards tucked under arms, waxing up in the salty spray. Jordan was a natural, carving waves like poetry, whooping as he dropped in. I flailed more than flowed, but the water washed away the night's tension, cool and forgiving. Marcus watched from the shore, perched on a weathered log, sketchbook in hand. Turns out he was an amateur artist, capturing coastlines in charcoal strokes. You're holding back, he called when I paddled in for a breather, water sluicing off my skin. Loosen your hips. Let the wave carry you. His advice was practical, but the way he said it, eyes tracing my form, turned it filthy in my head. Afternoon melted into lazy haze. Frisbee on the sand, cold sodas from the cooler, Jordan napping under an umbrella while Marcus and I wandered the tide pools. Ever think about staying? He asked, crouching to examine a starfish, his voice low against the surf's roar. Out here, away from the noise. I knelt beside him, close enough to feel the heat radiating off his skin. All the time. But running never fixes what's inside. He met my gaze, something raw flashing there. Grief, maybe, or recognition. Sometimes it does. If you run toward the right things. Our hands touched on the wet rock, fingers intertwining for a heartbeat before he pulled away, standing abruptly. Jordan'll be up soon. Race you back. The pull was magnetic, a tide I couldn't fight. Evenings blurred into ritual, grilling sunsets, board games where Marcus's knee would accidentally press against mine under the table, stolen glances over flickering candles. Jordan, bless his oblivious heart, planned adventures, a hike to Pfeiffer Falls, where mist clung to our skin like secrets, a midnight drive to the redwoods, stars wheeling overhead as Marcus's truck rumbled through ancient groves. One night, after Jordan crashed early from too many IPAs, Marcus and I ended up on the deck, feet dangling over the edge, sharing a joint he'd rolled from his private stash. First time? He asked, exhaling smoke that curled like questions. I coughed, nodding, the buzz loosening my tongue. Everything feels bigger out here. Realer. He chuckled, low and intimate. That's the weed. Or maybe it's the company. Silence stretched, charged. I turned to him, heart hammering. Why'd you really invite us? Jordan says you hate summer crowds. His jaw tightened, eyes on the horizon. Needed a distraction. Work slow. Boats don't fix themselves when your head's elsewhere. Pause. And Jordan, he talks about you nonstop. Said you're the one who gets him through the tough days. Guilt twisted in me like a knife. Jordan, my rock. And here I was, unraveling over his father. He's family, I said softly. Marcus's hand found my shoulder, thumb tracing my collarbone, mirroring his own scar. So are you now. The touch ignited, and I leaned in, breath mingling, lips inches apart. But he froze, pulling back with a curse. Shit, Alex. We can't. He stood, disappearing inside, leaving me adrift in the dark. The next day cracked the facade. Jordan noticed my distraction during a volleyball game on the beach, me missing easy spikes, eyes drifting to where Marcus hammered stakes for the net. You good, man? Looked like you saw a ghost. I forced a laugh, spiking the ball too hard, sand flying. Just jet-lagged from city life. But the lie festered. That afternoon, while Jordan surfed solo, Marcus cornered me in the garage, amid the scent of varnish and old ropes. Last night was a mistake. You're Jordan's age, his friend. I crossed a line. His voice was rough, but his eyes begged understanding. Then why does it feel right? I challenged, stepping closer. He gripped my arms, not pushing away. Because I'm broken, kid. Lost too much to drag you down. We argued in whispers, him citing years, divorce scars, the small-town whispers if word got out. Me firing back with the fire in my veins, the loneliness I'd carried since coming out to myself in a dorm room mirror. I'm not a kid, Marcus. And you're not broken, you're alive. Our breaths synced, bodies colliding in a kiss that tasted of salt and surrender. It was brief, desperate, hands fisting shirts, but it shattered everything. He broke away gasping. Go. Before I ruin us all. I fled to the beach, waves pounding my confusion. How could something so electric be so wrong? Jordan found me at dusk, plopping down with a beer. Spill. You've been weird since day one. Heart in throat, I weighed the truth. Not yet. Just missing home. Thinking too much. He slung an arm around me, brotherly. That's what friends are for. Whatever it is, we got this. But as night fell, the house felt like a pressure cooker. Marcus avoided my eyes at dinner, Jordan chattering obliviously about college apps. Bed offered no escape, dreams tangled in blue eyes and crashing surf. By dawn, resolve hardened. I couldn't stay silent. This ache demanded air. Slipping downstairs, I found Marcus on the deck, coffee steaming, face etched with regret. We need to talk, I said, voice steady despite the storm inside. He turned slowly, mug pausing midair, the first light gilding his features in reluctant gold. Alex, no. I cut in, stepping into his space, the deck planks groaning under us like old bones. You don't get to decide alone. Last night, that wasn't nothing. It was everything. His eyes darkened, a tempest brewing. It was reckless. Jordan trusts me, trusts us. What happens when he finds out his best friend and his old man are? He trailed off, gesturing vaguely between us. The word unspoken, but heavy, tangled. Lovers. Fools. I grabbed his wrist, feeling the pulse leap beneath my fingers. Then we tell him. Together. Because hiding this? It's killing me already. Marcus searched my face, conflict carving deeper lines. He'd built walls from wreckage, his ex-wife's betrayal, the Navy discharge after an injury that left him limping on rainy days, the quiet years raising Jordan solo amid judgmental glances in their sleepy Oregon hometown before this California escape. You think it's that simple? I'm twice your age, Alex. This town's got memories longer than the coastline. One whisper, and Jordan pays the price. The rawness in his voice cracked something in me. I pulled him closer, foreheads touching, breaths sinking in the crisp morning air. Age is just numbers. And whispers. They fade against truth. Our lips met again, slower this time, exploratory, his stubble grazing my chin, hands tentative on my waist. It was a promise, fragile as sea glass, but real. We broke apart at the sound of Jordan's footsteps upstairs, Marcus pressing a finger to my lips. Tonight, after he's asleep, we'll figure this out. The day dragged like molasses. Jordan sensed the shift, ribbing me during a hike to the cliffs. You're glowing, dude. Spill the secret. Did you finally hook up with that barista back home? I laughed it off, but inside, anticipation coiled tight. Marcus kept distance, polite but charged, his glances like brush fires. We picnicked on wildflower meadows, Jordan snapping selfies, oblivious to the undercurrent pulling me under. Dusk brought storm clouds rolling in from the Pacific, thunder rumbling like distant artillery. Jordan crashed early, claiming a headache from the humidity, leaving Marcus and me to clear the table. Dishes clattered in tense silence until he set down a plate with deliberate force. He's out cold. Your room or mine? The question hung, bold and vulnerable. I nodded toward the deck. Outside, under the stars. Let the ocean hear us first. We slipped into the night, rain pattering soft on our skin as we descended to the private cove. Moonlight silvered the waves, casting ethereal glow on Marcus's face as he spread a blanket on the sand. We talked for hours, him unfolding his past like a well-worn map. The youthful marriage to Jordan's mom, crumbling under his unspoken attractions. The quiet affairs in port towns, always ending in dawn goodbyes. The divorce that stripped him bare, forcing a reckoning with the man in the mirror. I thought I was done with this, chasing hearts after 40. Safer to fix engines than feelings. I shared my fragments. The Sacramento closet, coming out to a mother who hugged me tighter but whispered prayers. The hookups in college bathrooms, hollow echoes of what I craved. You're not a chase, Marcus. You're home. Rain intensified, soaking us, but we didn't move. His kiss was fierce then, bodies pressing urgent against the storm, clothes shedding like old skins. On that blanket, under indifferent skies, we explored each other with reverence, his hands mapping my youth, mine tracing his strength. It was messy, profound, a symphony of gasps and waves, where age dissolved into shared humanity. Afterward, tangled and spent, we lay watching lightning fork the horizon. Jordan, he murmured, dread lacing the word. I traced his scar. He loves fiercely. He'll understand. But doubt not. Dawn crept in, forcing us back, stolen touches lingering like aftershocks. The next week was a high-wire act. Jordan planned a road trip to Monterey, aquarium visits, clam chowder at Cannery Row, but tension simmered. Marcus and I stole moments. A hand on the small of my back in the truck, midnight swims where bodies collided in bioluminescent glow. Jordan caught fragments, a too-long glance, my flush at dinner, and confronted me one humid afternoon by the grill. What's with you and Dad? You're different around him. Heart slamming, I hedged. Just respect, man. He's cool. Jordan's eyes narrowed. Bull. I know that look. From the mirror, when I crushed on that lifeguard last year. Panic surged. It's not. But he held up a hand, hurt flickering. If it's him, Alex. That's messed up. He's my dad. The accusation landed like a slap. I bolted, surfboard underarm, paddling out until waves drowned the roar in my ears. Hours later, Marcus found me on the shore, drenched and defeated. He knows. I nodded, tears mixing with seawater. Marcus pulled me close, unyielding. Then we face it. Together. Dinner that night was a battlefield. Jordan sat rigid, fork stabbing salad. Saw you too. On the beach. What the hell? Marcus met his gaze steady. Son, it's real. Alex and I, we didn't plan this. Jordan's face crumpled. Anger, betrayal, grief. You're ruining everything. He's my best friend. Yells escalated, plates rattling, until Jordan stormed out, truck keys jangling. The house echoed empty, rain lashing windows like judgment. Marcus paced, guilt etching him hollow. I told you. I destroy what I touch. I grabbed him, fierce. No. This is growth. Painful, but necessary. We waited through the night, his head on my lap, my fingers in his hair, whispering affirmations against the void. Dawn brought Jordan back, eyes red-rimmed, voice small. I get it. Kinda. But it hurts. Feels like losing you both. We talked then, raw, unfiltered. Marcus owning his fears, me vowing loyalty, Jordan peeling back his own confusions about identity in a world that boxes us tight. Healing was slow, stitches pulling. Jordan and I rebuilt on bonfires and brutal honesty. Marcus opened up, therapy apps on his phone, sketches of us three intertwined. The trips in loomed, but so did possibility, a shared apartment in Santa Cruz, weekends mending boats. On the last night, under star-strewn skies, Jordan raised a toast. To fucked up families. And the loves that fix them. Laughter broke the dam, hugs fierce and tear-streaked. As I packed, Marcus slipped a sketch into my bag. Our cove, waves cradling two figures, a third watching from the cliff. Guardian, not intruder. Come back, he whispered at the door, kiss lingering. Always, I promised, heart full. Driving north with Jordan, windows down, wind whipping secrets free, I knew. Love wasn't a summer fling. It was the quake that reshaped you, leaving stronger ground. But the drive back to reality was a slow unraveling. Jordan gripped the wheel tighter than necessary, classic rock blaring to fill the silences that stretched like fault lines. We'd patched the immediate wounds, his reluctant acceptance born of late-night confessions over smuggled whiskey. But trust was a fragile rebuild, one wrong word from collapse. "You really love him?" he asked finally, eyes on the winding Highway 1, cliffs plunging to turquoise depths. I nodded, throat tight. "More than I knew possible. And you? Can we still be us?" He exhaled, a ghost of his grin surfacing. "Yeah, dumbass. But if you hurt him, I bury you at sea." Santa Cruz welcomed us with fog-shrouded familiarity, dorms buzzing with fall prep, coffee shops spilling over with sunburned co-eds. I dove into syllabus hell, but Marcus haunted every quiet moment. A text at midnight, "Miss your laugh." A sketched postcard of a heron in flight, "Wings for your worries." Jordan crashed at my place often, our dynamic shifting to something deeper, brothers in the mess of it, swapping stories of awkward family calls. His mom, post-divorce firebrand, had cornered him on FaceTime. "Your fathers always chase storms. Just don't get caught in one." Jordan's laugh had been wry. "Too late, Mom. But this one's worth the rain." Weeks blurred into rhythm. Marcus drove down weekends, his truck rumbling into town like a heartbeat. We'd steal hours. Hikes in the redwoods where his hand found mine amid fern shadows. Dinners at hole-in-the-wall Tacarius where his knee pressed mine under vinyl booths. Intimacy deepened. Nights in my narrow bed, bodies fitting like puzzle pieces worn smooth by time. His whispers tracing vulnerabilities I'd armored over. "You're my anchor, Alex," he'd murmur, fingers lacing mine as dawn crept in. But cracks showed, his limp worsening in chill, my anxiety spiking at judgmental stares in grocery lines, small-town echoes following us south. Crisis hit mid-October, a Thursday gale rattling campus oaks. Jordan burst into my lecture hall, face ashen. Dad's in the ER. Rogue wave flipped his boat, took a hit to the ribs. The world narrowed to tunnel vision. I raced to Monterey General, Jordan's silent shotgun, rain sheeting the windshield. The waiting room was sterile hell, fluorescent buzz, coffee stale as regret. Marcus emerged bandaged, bruised violet blooming across his torso, but alive, eyes lighting when he saw me. "Told you I chase storms," he rasped, attempting levity. I clutched his hand, tears hot. No more solo voyages. Recovery was a team effort. Jordan played nurse with gruff efficiency, smuggling in and out runs. I read to him from his favorite Hemingway, voice steadying us both. In quiet moments, truth surfaced. "Scared me shitless," Marcus admitted one night. Painkillers loosening his guard. "Not the wave, the thought of leaving you before we started." I kissed his knuckles, scarred from wrenches and waves. "We're just beginning." Jordan walked in then, catching the tenderness, but instead of recoil, he smirked. "Sappy bastards. Pass the jello." Discharge brought decisions. Marcus's boat lay splintered in the harbor, insurance a bureaucratic snarl. "Time for shore leave," he joked, but fear lurked. Finances tight, Jordan's tuition looming. I proposed what had simmered. "Move here. Fix boats in the marina, crash with us. Build something real." His hesitation was a chasm, pride, the ghost of failed promises. And Jordan, a nod from the doorway, where his son leaned, arms crossed. "Family's what we make it, Dad. Not blood or labels." The move was chaos. U-Haul crammed with tools and canvases, Jordan's couch surfing turning permanent. Our home was a creaky duplex off West Cliff Drive. Peeling paint, ocean views through salt-crusted windows. Marcus claimed the garage workshop, hammering life back into hulls. Jordan and I juggled classes and shifts at the board shop. Evenings dissolving into shared meals where laughter drowned old aches. Romance wove through. Marcus's sketches adorning walls, my playlists syncing our drives, stolen kisses in the shower steam. But shadows lingered. Thanksgiving loomed, my parents' invitation a minefield. Sacramento conservatives, loving in their way but blind to nuances. Dad's golf buddies trading jokes. Mom's Bible study whispers. "Bring him," Jordan urged over turkey prep, basting the bird with sage defiance. "Or don't go." Marcus squeezed my thigh under the table. "Your call, love. I'm here either way." I chose truth. The drive north was fraught, Marcus's hand steady on my knee as suburbia swallowed us. Dinner was a tightrope. Parents polite, probing. Jordan's father? How? Nice. Until wine loosened tongues. "He's more than that," I said, voice cracking. "He's mine." Silence crashed, then Mom's tears, Dad's stiff nod. "As long as you're happy, son. Not perfect, But a door cracked. Progress in whispers. Winter softened into spring. Our trio a quiet revolution. Jordan dated a barista with tattoos and theories, finding his own rhythm. Marcus's limp faded with physio, his art gaining local buzz at farmers markets. One April Eve, as cherry blossoms dusted the cliffs, Marcus knelt on our deck. Rings simple, silver wrought from boat chain. Alex Hale, be my forever storm. Laughter through tears, yes, always. Years later, we'd look back on that summer as Genesis, the quake that birthed us. Jordan, best man at our courthouse wedding, toasting with craft beer, to shaking hearts and steady hands. In a world quick to judge, we'd carved grace from grit, proving love's true measure isn't perfection, but the courage to dive deep, scars and all. Yet even grace has growing pains. The wedding was a humble affair, salty breeze off the cliff, Jordan officiating with a borrowed stole from his theater club, a handful of friends toasting with chilled rose. Marcus in a crisp button-down, sleeves rolled to scars, me in linen slacks, heart hammering like the first wave I rode. Vows exchanged under a driftwood arch. In calm and gale, I choose you. Sealed with a kiss that tasted of salt and forever. But bliss, it turns out, is a jealous tide, always pulling at the edges. Summer returned, 2 years on, with a vengeance. Marcus's boat repair gig boomed, hulls gleaming in the marina slip, but long hours bred distance. I'd graduated, landed a junior editor gig at a lit mag in town, endless proofs and coffee runs, while Jordan chased a psych degree, interning at a crisis center for queer youth. Our duplex swelled with life. Books toppling stacks, Marcus's sketches papering fridge doors, but routines calcified. Date nights blurred into takeout on the couch, touches turning perfunctory amid exhaustion. The fracture started small, a canceled anniversary hike for Marcus's overtime, my late-night vents ignored in his workshop haze. I'm fading here, I confessed one dusk, feet in the surf, waves nipping ankles. He pulled me close, stubble rough. Just a season, babe. We'll weather it. But doubt seated, old fears whispering. Am I enough? Does age carve canyons too wide? Jordan spotted it first, over beers at the Seabright Brewery. You two are like an old married couple, bickering over dishes instead of dancing. His grin faded. Talk to him, Alex. Before it erodes. Wise beyond his 20s, our unofficial therapist. That night, I ambushed Marcus post-shift, grease-streaked and weary. We're drifting. He sank onto the bed, head in hands. Work's a beast. And you, shining so bright, editing words that change worlds. I feel dim. Vulnerability cracked him open, the vet's imposter syndrome, the divorce echo questioning his worth. We cried then, raw and reclaiming, bodies reconnecting fierce, reminders of fire beneath ash. Renewal sparked. We instituted storm dates, no phones escapes to hidden coves, where he'd sketch me nude against rocks, or I'd read poetry till stars wheeled. Jordan joined sometimes, our triad unbreakable, family forged in fire. But external gales brewed. Marcus's ex, Vanessa, resurfaced via email. Jordan's college fund shortfall, her concern laced with barbs about that boy distracting you from fatherhood. Venom dripped, hints of custody battles past, whispers of my instability. Jordan seethed, forwarding the chain. She's projecting her mess. Marcus's face hardened, old wounds festering. Won't let her poison this. But poison seeps. Arguments flared, me urging therapy, him retreating to whiskey and waves. One tempest night, thunder cracking like bones, he packed a bag. Need space to think. Not leaving, just breathing. Door slammed, truck fading into rain. I crumpled, Jordan holding me as sobs racked. He'll come back. Love like yours doesn't drown easy. 48 hours of hell. Pacing floors, Jordan's pep talks laced with worry, my texts unanswered. Then, dawn 3, a knock. Marcus, soaked, eyes haunted. Drove to Big Sur. Slept on our beach. He dropped to knees, voice breaking. You're my compass, Alex. Can't navigate without you. Forgiveness was fierce embrace. Vows renewed in whispers. No more solo storms. Healing deepened resolve. We sought counseling, a grizzled vet therapist who got the scars, literal and not. Vanessa's barbs deflected with legal steel. Jordan's funds secured through Marcus's grit. Fall brought harvest. My first byline in the mag. A profile on queer artists weathering coasts. Marcus's exhibit at a local gallery. Canvases alive with our story. Turbulent blues yielding to dawn pinks. Winter solstice, we hosted Hail Hall, friends and strays around a bonfire, Jordan emceeing toasts. His girlfriend, Lena, tattooed firecracker with a psych minor, fit seamless, her hand in his a mirror of ours. As flames danced, Marcus pulled me aside, ring glinting. 1 year in. Best decision. Kiss under mistletoe bough, world fading to us. Spring, unfurled tentative. I pitched a memoir. Our summer genesis, raw and redemptive. Rejection stung, but Marcus's belief anchored. Your words heal, love. Keep casting. Jordan graduated, cap tossed triumphant, his speech nodding our unconventional crew as lifeline. Post-ceremony, beers on the pier, he hugged us fierce. You saved me too, you know? Showed love's not a script. Summer circled back, 3 years marking the quake. We upgraded to a cottage near the marina, wraparound porch for stargazing, workshop humming. Marcus launched a custom boat line, storm chasers, hulls etched with waves and wings. I sold the memoir, title echoing our hook, tides that bind. Launch party on the beach, Jordan DJing indie sets, Lena grilling skewers. As sun dipped, Marcus and I slipped away to the cove, our origin. Blanket spread, wine shared, bodies familiar yet electric. Think Jordan suspected that first night? He mused, fingers tracing my hip. Laughter bubbled. Nah, but he knew we needed shaking. Stars wheeled, ocean him. In that cradle, we dreamed forward. Adoptions maybe, travels to ports unknown, a life woven from grit and grace. Love, we'd learned, isn't earthquakes' end. It's the aftershocks building resilient shores. And in each other's arms, we stood firm, hearts unshaken. The memoir's release was a quiet ripple at first, advance copies mailed to a handful of indie bookstores, a virtual launch with Jordan live streaming from the cottage porch. But words have wings, and soon tides that bind caught gusts. A glowing review in the San Francisco Chronicle calling it a poignant anthem for late-blooming loves, podcast invites flooding my inbox. Suddenly, readings in LA lofts, Q&As at queer-lit fests, Marcus in the front row, his proud grin a beacon amid flashing cameras. My husband's a star, he'd quip to strangers, the word husband still sending butterflies rioting. Fame's underbelly snarled quick. Trolls surfaced online, age gap screeds and comment threads. Groomer, slurs twisting our story into caricature. Vanessa weaponized it. Anonymous posts from Alts dredging divorce dirt. Jordan fielded the worst, his crisis center job honing shields. Block and breathe, guys. Haters are just ghosts of their own regrets. But nights, Marcus paced the workshop, hammer strikes echoing doubt. Am I holding you back? Spotlight's yours. I'm just the old salt in the frame. I drag him to bed, mapping his worries with lips and limbs. You're the story's soul. Without you, it's ink on air. Intimacy reaffirmed, but strain lingered, a low hum threatening harmony. Jordan, sensing it, orchestrated intervention, a weekend getaway to Joshua Tree, his treat from intern stipend. Desert reset. No signals, just sand and stars. The drive east was cathartic, windows down, classic rock anthems blasting, Lena's shotgun with playlists curated for soul search. Tents pitched under yucca silhouettes, campfires crackling tales. Jordan's first crush fumble, Lena's tattoo origin, a phoenix for her trans journey. Marcus's Navy escapades dodging typhoons. One night, meteor shower blazing, we sprawled on blankets, hands linked in a human constellation. This, Jordan said, voice thick, is family. Messy, miraculous. Tears pricked, hugs lingered. Dawn hikes yielded clarity. Marcus vowing presence over perfection, me promising balance. Words for the world, but heart homebound. Back coastward, momentum built. The book hit bestseller lists, modest, but enough for a book tour. Seattle rains to Portland brews, each stop a catharsis. Marcus tagged along when he could, his sketches sold as merch, proceeds to queer youth shelters. Jordan joined for the Bay Area leg, panel on Family Reimagined, his psych lens adding weight. Love defies timelines. It's the choice to stay through the squalls. Crest came in New York, a strand reading packed shoulder to shoulder. Nervous sweat beaded as I read the hook. That fateful doorstep, the heart shake. Applause thundered, signings stretched hours. But post-glitz, hotel bar solitude hit. Marcus nursing scotch, eyes distant. Proud as hell, but, watching you shine up there, I felt small again. I cupped his face, fierce. You're my North Star. Always. That night, city lights blurring, we reclaimed each other, slow, sacred, reaffirming vows in silk sheets. Homecoming grounded us. Fall foliage painted cliffs crimson. Harvest festivals brimmed with cider and chaos. Jordan proposed to Lena under our arbor. Ring a wave-etched band. Tears and cheers ensuing. Wedding planning wove U.S. tighter. Venue hunts along the Big Sur coast. Vows workshopped over wine. Echo hours, Marcus advised. But make it yours, raw real. Winter whispered changes. My sequel brewed. Expanding our circle, Jordan's arc from bystander to ally extraordinaire. Marcus's boat biz expanded, apprentices under wing. Young vets finding purpose in planks and paint. One eve, snow flurrying rare on the coast, he unveiled a crib sketch. For the kid we'll foster. When you're ready. Overwhelmed, I kissed him breathless. Soon. With you, anything. Spring bloomed defiant. Jordan's nuptials on the beach, barefoot, bioluminescent waves lapping vows, drew our patchwork tribe. My parents, thawed to tentative pride. Vanessa, invited but absent, her silence a gift. Lena in white linen, Jordan beaming. Us flanking, tissues at ready. Reception bonfire roared, dances sloppy and sweet. As embers died, Jordan pulled me aside. That summer saved us all. You and Dad, you're the quake that built this shore. Summer full circle, for years post-handshake. Our foster son arrived. 8, wide-eyed Jamal, boat-mad from Oakland foster hops. Marcus taught knots. I spun bedtime tales. Jordan Uncle ING with board lessons. Cottage alive with chaos. Sandy footprints. Laughter echoing. One Sunset Cove picnic. Jamal splashing pools. Marcus and I entwined on the blanket. Shook your heart, did I? He teased, echoing the title. Grin splitting. Rattled my soul. Best tremor ever. Waves applauded. Stars kindled. In this tapestry, woven from rifts and repairs, we thrived. Love's lesson, not absence of storm, but dancing in the rain, hands clasped, unyielding. Through every aftershock, we'd emerge, stronger, truer, eternally bound. Epilogues aren't tidy bows. They're the frayed edges where stories breathe on. 5 summers layered thick, our cottage a palimpsest of lives. Jamal's crayon murals on workshop walls, Lena's herbal gardens spilling wild, Jordan's therapy practice booming from a sunroom office. The memoir spawned a sequel, Echoes on the Tide. Jamal's voice threading ours, a testament to chosen kin. Tours tempered to keynotes, balance my mantra, words wielded, but roots deep. Marcus aged like fine oak, silver threading temples, laugh lines etching joy. His limp a mere whisper, boats christened with queer icons, hulls named Outlier, Haven. One gale season, a client's yacht saved from reef, headline hero, his modesty endearing. Team effort, he'd shrug, but pride swelled mine. Nights, he'd trace my graying temples, silver fox, he'd murmur. Our lovemaking a slow burn, seasoned and searing. Jordan and Lena's twins arrived autumnal. Boy-girl duo, Mira and Kai, screeching delights. Cottage overflowed. Playdates on the porch, Marcus grandpawing with pirate yarns, me editing manuscripts amid block towers. Jordan, dadhood suiting him soft, confided over dad duty beers. Never thought I'd crave this stability. You two modeled it, through the mess. Challenges ebbed, flowed. Jamal's questions pierced. Biomom searches, identity, eddies and teen tides. We navigated gentle. Therapy circles, open adoptions explored. My parents visited more, dad tinkering boats with Marcus, mom baking Jamal's favorites, bridges mending slow. Vanessa's thaw came tentative, a holiday card, then coffee meet, her apologies halting. I was scared. For Jordan. Forgiveness not full, but foothold. Crisis crested year 6. Marcus's doc spotting shadows on scans, prostate whisper, early catch. Waiting rooms revisited, hands clasped white-knuckled. Fight mode. He rasped post-biopsy, my rock crumbling then reforming. Treatments spanned months. Chemo fogs, my readings canceled, Jordan shuttling kids. Jamal held vigil with sketches, superheroes caped in waves. Clear scans dawned like resurrection. Celebration bonfire roared. Toasts to storms survived. Renewed, we chased horizons. Family road trip to Yellowstone. Geysers mirroring inner eruptions. Jamal, 13 now, came out quiet. Crushing on a classmate, our arms open wide. Proud, kiddo, Marcus beamed, echo of my own unveiling. Jordan mentored, his center expanding to teen groups. Decade mark loomed, but we marked small. Anniversary Cove, blanket worn threadbare. Wine flowed, reminiscences rich. That doorstep, Marcus mused, arm round me. Best mistake I never regretted. Laughter mingled with surf. Shook us awake. Jamal, distant now at camp, texted pics, board tricks, heart emojis. Jordan's reply all, legends. As twilight deepened, stars pricking familiar, I leaned into him, scent of salt eternal. What's next? His kiss lingered, answer in touch. More tides, more us. In the end, or the endless middle, love proved alchemy. Base metals of ache and age transmuted gold. Weeds shaken hearts, mended fractures, built empires from sandcastles. And in every dawn's light, hand in hand, we walked on, unshaken, unbreakable, profoundly alive.